This entire case is illegitimate. Frankly, they all are. But this one in particular, even though it's the least important case, since it's really only a civil case, this one is leaving the worst taste in my mouth. It's probably because it's not a criminal case. There's no real chance at prison time. It's not really that significant. It's probably because of that they feel so confident to brazenly politicize the whole process. I really want to get into this. I've been following Leticia James, New York Attorney General Leticia James, on Twitter for a while now. She is absolutely horrible. This case is political, it is a witch hunt, it is an attack. There is a clear conflict of interest. And honestly, even if Trump himself was guilty of everything they're accusing him of, which again, I'm not convinced of, I haven't found any of their arguments convincing, a very simple observation of their behavior, of the pattern of behavior here, in my opinion, should be enough to throw this entire case in the garbage where it belongs. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I first want to start off with Leticia James. I want to ask, is this behavior normal? Her entire Twitter feed is nothing but updates on the Trump case. It's nothing but, we're gonna get him. Scroll through and every day is another update. Today we wrapped up the third week in our trial against Donald Trump and the Trump Organization. Trump can keep spreading rumors, Trump can keep lying, but the truth will always prevail. It's literally non-stop tweets like this. It's non-stop little vlogs, you know, almost like a content creator, like a little social media personality, attacking Trump endlessly. Not once has she ever actually explained her evidence. She just keeps saying Trump is guilty and we're gonna get him, essentially. Or she releases these ridiculous graphics showing Trump's value and the appraised value, which again is total propaganda. We covered it in the previous video. She claimed that Donald Trump misrepresented the value of Mar-a-Lago by hundreds of millions of dollars. She lied. That was a dishonest piece of propaganda, which we spoke of in the previous video covering this exact topic. Well, she just keeps repeating the same tactic over and over again with every one of Trump's properties. It is a constant release of propaganda, and what does she do on the back of that? Well, she campaigns. Literally. Leticia James supposedly is a neutral arbiter of the law. No, Leticia James is a politician who tweets stuff like this. People clap, shouldn't clap, own clap, assault clap rifles clap. Leticia James is a far-left activist. She is not a respected, legitimate, neutral attorney general. Leticia James is an activist.
And so we've got to stand up to the federal government. We've got to stand up to bullies. We've got to stand up to an administration which is too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, and too stale. And we will not go away silently. We will not be silent in the face of this oppression. We will not be.
Based on what she just said, I'd argue a racist activist, which is kind of funny considering she accused Donald Trump of, quote, race baiting last week.
Trump's comments were offensive, they were baseless, they were void of any facts and or any evidence. What they were comments that unfortunately fomented violence, comments that I would describe as race baiting.
What an absolute joke. This entire case is, number one, a campaign event for Leticia James to promote herself, and number two, the political railroading of the Republican nominee. That is what they are doing. And the most recent example of that is the gag order that was placed on Donald Trump. They placed a gag order on the de facto Republican presidential nominee. Now, this is relating to another case, but it fits because it's happening in both cases, you know, pertaining to these Trump gag orders. Even the far left ACLU is now coming out saying that the Trump gag order in the January 6th case specifically is, quote, unconstitutional. Their reasoning? The obvious and unprecedented public interest in this prosecution, as well as the widespread political speech that it has generated and will continue to generate, only underscores the need to apply the most stringent First Amendment standard to a restraint on defendants' speech rights. That applies to both cases. The New York judge in this case is acting like a damn tyrant. Most recently, he fined Donald Trump $10,000 and even threatened him above that fine. The judge overseeing that case, Judge Arthur Engeron, had an issue with President Trump publishing, quote, false and disparaging posts on his social media account regarding one of the judge's clerks. Then Judge Engeron essentially asked Donald Trump to defend his statements because he was considering imposing significant sanctions or even potential imprisonment on Donald Trump because he said things the judge didn't like. The whole thing is ridiculous. Leticia James said this the other day.
He's called me venomous, he's called me disgraceful, he's called me radical, he's called me a racist, and this is only week 3. The reality is that none of his behavior, which can best be described as performative, will change what's happening in the courtroom. The courtroom, as you know, where we have submitted evidence, and the evidence is clear. And that is, he inflated his statements of financial interests to enrich himself and his family. And nothing will change that. Not the attacks on me or anyone. At the end of the day, we are here to seek justice, and we will seek justice. And so I look forward to seeing Mr. Trump again. I understand that he will be returning next week for Michael Cohen. But we are here to enforce the law, and nothing will change that. No attacks, no words. I will not give in. I will not give up. I will only serve justice and enforce the law. Thank you.
These police state goons are essentially arguing that the former president of the United States and current presidential candidate doesn't have the right to speak in his own defense. He doesn't have the right to criticize Leticia James, accurately I might add, and it's further proof that this whole thing is one political witch hunt, a legal railroading of Joe Biden's presidential opponent. There is no other way to describe it. There's no other way to look at it. And it's been clear since the beginning. Leticia James literally campaigned on going after Donald Trump. We've played that clip a million times. Let's play it again. It's quite short.
And what would you say to people who say, oh, I'm not going to bother to register to vote because my voice doesn't make a difference, or I'm just one person?
I say one name, Donald Trump. That should motivate you. Get off your vote.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass. He's going to know my name personally.
I love it.
And so if we look at the big picture here, if we look at the whole picture, I think my argument stands. The judge is a Democrat with deep ties to top Democrats in New York. He's acting horrible and totally unconstitutionally. The Attorney General campaigned on going after Trump and is now actively campaigning every single day on this case, acting like an activist and a political operative more than an Attorney General. The facts surrounding this case are laughable. Frankly, they're offensive, they are horrible, and in my view, no one should take them seriously. This is pure election interference, and I really don't see how anyone could see it any other way. Anyways, just my observation, my frustration, but mostly my view of Leticia James. I constantly get her tweets on my Twitter feed, and it all just seems so perverse and frankly makes me sick. I just wanted to make this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.